everything I said 10 minutes beforehand, you're like, got him. He's not going to know I recorded that. I'm going to use it in the pre-show drop. I don't care what everybody thinks of him.
Yeah, if only I had that recorded, huh?
You recorded this, didn't you?
Of course I recorded it. All right, you ready for this? You ready for this? Because before we even start the show, I have to do this. Ready?
Yes.
That was the breaking news drop because, let me tell you, everyone, Jamal Charles is back. Signed by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jamal's back. My boy, Jamal Charles. It made me so happy this week. Jason actually alerted it to me, I believe, on Tuesday. He signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Kral spent $18 on him.
Yeah, and it was the most wasted $18 I may have ever seen in the history of the free agent waiver budget.
You just spent $18 on a guy who hasn't been in the league for, I don't know, 3 months?
Right. I mean, yes, is it Jamal Charles? Yes. Was he great once? Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Was it a long time ago? And
it was
Jamal
a while
Charles,
ago.
He's injury insurance. He might not even suit up for some of these games yet. The name alone, and look at the weight it carries. It's unbelievable.
Hey, I put in a $0 bid for him, just because
Yeah, that's because
I
you
had
have
to.
Ronald Jones on your roster, and you can afford to just drop his deal like that.
No. I picked up Ronald Jones this week.
For what? Did you pay money for him?
No, he was free. I dropped Jay Ajayi.
Oh, you paid $1. I see.
Yeah, I was trying to get Mike Davis or whoever the hell the guy is from Seattle.
Oh, okay. That wouldn't have been terrible.
No, of course it wouldn't have been terrible. Let's actually start the show. Welcome to the Gentleman Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host every week, Kyle Rutka. With me on the Hot Stuff Pizzeria hotline, my buddy, my best friend, Robert Rushlow. How is it today, Robert?
It's great. And to be honest, I had hot stuff pizza today. I should have asked for a discount. I didn't actually mention to them that we've been plugging their pizza this whole time.
You should have told them you had an Indian card. I always get a discount when I tell them that.
Dude, did you know I actually have like 5 Indian cards?
Recruiting is really that serious to you that you have 5 Indian cards?
Sort of. So a guy that joined, I told him, hey, if you sign up by the end of August, I'll buy 5 Indian cards for you. So, $100 later, I have 5 of them.
You're shameless.
Look, sometimes you got to do weird shit to make mission, and that's what I did.
Yes, so. Are you the next Rick Pitino? Are you dropping duffel bags all over town?
I like to compare it to like being a vacuum cleaner salesman and being like, if you buy this vacuum cleaner, I'll come vacuum your house also.
Yes. Here you are raking 17-year-old boys' houses.
Yes.
Okay. So I have a question to ask you.
Hit me.
Have you heard this Chris Jansen song, this drunk girl song?
No,
it's a country song. You've never heard that song? It's on country radio all the time.
Well, that explains why I haven't heard it.
Well, let me tell you a story. Being a contractor, whenever we're doing a remodel or a new house or something, the framing crew always listens to country. Now, you see, the drywallers, they listen to oldies. They're old. I don't know why they listen to oldies. And the painters are always Mexicans. They listen to Mexican music.
Like that weird polka stuff?
Yeah, the weird Mexican, the weird, it's fucking weird, okay? But the contractors always listen to country. So I'm stuck listening to 92.1, which used to be the best oldie station in the world, now is this terrible country station. And Chris Jansen has this song about a drunk girl. And the chorus is, take a drunk girl home, leave her keys by the phone or whatever. And so you never heard this song?
No.
Well, fuck. Well, this totally kills this question.
I mean, you should have came into this pod assuming I don't listen to country music. I'd rather listen
This is
to
a
Mexican
super
folk.
popular song right now. Okay, so in the song, he says you should take a drunk girl home, leave her keys on the table, put her in bed, let her sleep alone, all this kind of stuff, I understand the point of the song is to be like, oh, this is really, he's a man, he's a gentleman.
It's a song about chivalry.
Yes, of course. But here's my question, all right? How many drunk girls have you taken home that you weren't trying to have sex with, that weren't your no, but seriously, that you weren't trying to have sex with, that wasn't either your longtime significant other or your wife? Tell me this: how many drunk girls have you taken home from a bar? You're just like, yeah, you're drunk. I'm friends with you. I'm just gonna take you home.
I'm going to be honest. That may only be Nicole.
See, that's what I mean. Nobody takes a drunk girl home. And there's this thing in the song where she sends him a message like, "Oh, you're so nice. You brought me home last night. And you didn't rape me. You're the best." And I'm thinking to myself, this guy is permanently friend zoned. I mean, is he just like that with all the chicks if he does this for all the chicks that, like, how many girls has this guy taken home and just let I don't get
every
it.
girl's best friend.
Yeah, like, I don't get it. And here's the other thing. If she's that drunk, okay, and in the song he's talking about, let her sleep alone, put her keys on the counter, go sleep on the couch. If she's that drunk, do you want to let her sleep alone? I mean, what if she dies?
That happens when she chokes on her own vomit.
Right. Are you really a gentleman then?
I don't know. I mean, he's just trying to do the right thing in his own weird country way.
Of course.
I bet you in the Mexican polka song they were actually saying, like, take her ass home, go in one finger at a time.
Oh, no, he was raping her, definitely. If it was a Mexican song, he was raping her.
Like all that stuff. But you don't know because
Joby and Zach would know. They're Mexican.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they listen to it. Little do you know, it's actually like some real dirty, nasty stuff, and you're just like oblivious. It's like, man, this polka sucks.
I have another thing to say. I ran into Joby. His kids are in the same preschool class as Vince, and they had last night they had their open house. So we go to open house, all right, and I walk in. I say hi to Joby. And I'm going to preface this by saying I'm not gay. Okay? Are you ready? I'm not gay.
Are you sure?
I'm positive, all right? But I walk in, and there's Joby standing there. Now, I swear to God, he must have just gotten out of the shower and combed his hair and used his Herbal Essences shampoo and conditioner. Because Joby is growing the most long, luscious, beautiful hair you've ever seen again. He's going back to Kelso.
How luscious? Is it?
I'm not kidding you. I was almost blinded by the shininess of his hair as I walked in the door. I was like, holy fuck. Did you just come from the barber? Why is your hair so shiny? And he looked like it was like a woman's hair, just like perfectly straight and flowing and long and shiny.
Did you have to sit down?
I thought about it. I was going to say something to him, but then I was like, no, I'll just save it for the pod.
Interesting. Did it move in slow motion when he, like,
It
turned?
may as well have. It was kind of like one of those Fabio, I can't believe it's but not butter commercials where he turned and it just, waved. It waved at me.
Man, I mean, I would state the obvious here, but you already prefaced this conversation with your statement that you're not gay, so I'll leave that one alone.
I swear I'm not.
Not usually.
Not usually. All right, let's talk about some real stuff here.
Okay.
Mason Crosby.
Do we have to?
I mean, let's just touch upon it. How the fuck do you miss 4 field goals and a point after?
He cost us 10 points.
Okay, and not only that, but how does a kicker miss 3 point afters, or 3 field goals and a point after? They get the ball down 10. They get the ball down to like the 40-yard line. They need a touchdown to tie no matter what they do. And And McCarthy just goes, it's fourth down. We need 2 scores. Why don't we just kick the field goal after the kicker missed 4 kicks already? Let's just kick the field goal. Let's just do it, right?
Honestly, I think they saw the writing on the wall that no matter what they did, they needed the onside kick. So for them, I feel like it was just a mutual decision by everybody to be like, let's just get Mason's confidence back. Let's have him nail this field goal and come out of this game with him making one. Honestly, I think that's what it was. I mean, A-Rod himself came out and gave him a little hug after he made it. And
yeah, but it wasn't that one, though. That's not the one I'm talking about. I'm talking about the one he missed beforehand. When they're down 10, there's a minute and a half left. It's fourth and whatever on like the 40-some yard line. The obvious move there is just go for it. Because if you don't get it, the game's over anyways. If you make the field goal and you don't get the onside, the game's over. I mean, what's the difference? Get the touchdown first.
Because if you miss the touchdown, then the onside doesn't even happen, I guess.
Yeah, and he missed the point. He missed the field goal. So
you're right, but if you need I guess if you need a touchdown and a field goal, and you can take the points where you can get them, then go for the onside. Like if you go for it on fourth and just turn the ball over, there is no onside, there is no score, and you're right back where you started. So
yeah,
I guess
which is exactly what happened when you have a kicker who missed 4 prior to that. Why would you trot him back out there to miss the 5th? You go for it.
I guess because you, as the coach, just like everyone else in Wisconsin, was like, well, there's no way he misses again, right?
No, I was literally saying, why the fuck are they bringing him back out here? He just missed 4. You go for it in that point.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I will never understand the mentality of a lot of coaches. I can't say there's a single game I've watched this season where I haven't questioned a decision and said, wow, I would have done that a lot differently.
McCarthy's right up there with Andy Reid in the respect of they just consistently do shit where you're like, you've been a coach for 15 years. How the hell do you keep fucking this shit up? How do you keep doing this stuff wrong?
Right. Yeah. McCarthy, I mean, at least McCarthy won a Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, I guess. Did he though? I mean, he won it, but was it him?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that just puts him a little bit ahead of Andy Reid.
All right, I'll give you that one. And on a somber note, Tuesday morning I pull up the fantasy football page and look at my team, and I look at it in all its glory. And I scroll down to Jay Ajayi's name, and it says he's on fucking IR. How the fuck does that happen?
Well,
he played the whole game.
He did. And he had other injuries that they weren't all that worried about, I guess, including a back injury, which sounded pretty painful. And then, wouldn't you know, it sounded like what did he do? He tore an ACL?
Yeah, he tore his ACL. He tore his ACL during the game, but played the rest of the game, and nobody knew about it. And then on Tuesday, they're like, yeah, he has a torn ACL.
He did what we thought Rodgers did.
Right? So I'd like to congratulate Joby on that trade. He got Austin Eckler and Deshaun Jackson for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, all he really gave you was, Jamal Williams?
Which was a mistake, because...
Yeah, to say he released Jamal Williams and you picked him up off of the waiver wire.
Which was a mistake, because up until the moment that I realized he had dropped Jamal Williams, I had a bid in for Mike Davis for $0.
Nice.
And I pick up Jamal Williams for some stupid reason, just because it was a last minute. Holy shit, I have like 2 minutes until the deadline. I'm going to swap it out for Jamal Williams because I think someone might want him. And Mike Davis ends up going for $13 this week. And I could have had him for free.
Well, I mean, you have the other 2 running backs in my free Aaron Jones campaign.
Yeah. How's that going for you, by the way?
I'm just going to keep screaming it from the rooftops until McCarthy realizes that, I mean, he's better. than the other two.
Yeah.
I get the timeshare thing. I get it's good to put a fresh back in every drive. I get all of the things that lead a coach to thinking that a three-headed running back system works. Jones is just better. I can't understand why Ty Montgomery is still a running back. Like, I like Williams. I like Jones. I mean, Montgomery's not even a bad running back, but he's like the third guy I would roll out in that scenario. Put him in the fucking...
I'm surprised Montgomery was not played at wide receiver last week with Cobb and Allison being out.
Right. What are you doing?
I didn't understand.
Rolling out Marquez, Valdez, Scantling, whatever, when you have Ty Montgomery that you could just shift out to the slot position and call it a day. Like,
oh yeah. Hey, and what's the other guy's name? He's like straight out of a Key and Peele sketch. Equanimous St. Brown.
Equanimous St. Brown, yeah.
Is that not like an exact name from a Key and Peele?
Yeah. And what drives me nuts is that Jay Kumro is better than both of them, and he didn't get any time on the field.
Yeah, because he's on IR, dumbass.
That was his chance.
That was his chance. He's on IR.
No, I know. It just pisses me off because he was really good. It's like wasted opportunity,
Yeah, well, you can't all have the flowing long hair like Joby and Jay Kumro.
Free Aaron Jones.
Do you have are we going to have a free Aaron Jones drop?
I mean, do you have anything that would...
The only thing that comes to mind is Dave Grohl singing "Free Me" in that one Foo Fighters song.
There you go. Free Aaron Jones.
All right. I'll see what I can do about that. So, all right. Well, let's look ahead here. How about the League of Ordinary Gentlemen standings? It's that time of year where we can actually start talking about things. Ed is 5-0, and let's just say, usually 6 wins puts you on the cusp. 7 wins is basically guaranteed in. And I got to say, Ted did a good job drafting for Ed. He's 5-0.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty much a shoo-in for the playoffs already. I mean, it'd be hard for him to lose his way out of it. I mean, I don't care if I just jinxed him, but that's impressive. I mean,
the only thing that could really derail him is the fact that he had the number 1 draft pick and drafted, of course, the best running back in the league. And then on top of that, he basically had the number 2 overall draft pick by getting James Conner.
Right.
And that might not follow through for the whole season, depending on what Mr. Bill decides to do with his life.
Yeah. How about him? I don't know. I felt like we really had a finger on the pulse of, like who was going to win, who was going to lose, what fantasy looked like. And then we both did a really bad job of making picks this last week.
Yeah, and I don't think they were... I mean, Zach shit the bed. That's for sure.
Yeah. Did we talk about the waiver wire? Could we get into that?
We'll talk about the waiver wire in a minute here.
All right.
Because that is just something to be seen.
Right.
It really... It's been a crazy year on the waivers. But hey, let's do a Bill and Sal thing. It's time to make our first write-off of the year. Who are we writing off here?
Ooh, I like this. I mean, I got to go with Kral. Isn't that just a no-brainer?
It's got to be Kral. Next week, after Ed plays Jason, I got a feeling we're probably going to be able to write off Jason. Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, I almost like Kral's team a little bit more than Jason's, but I mean, 0-5 is just a lot to bounce back from.
What was your record that year when you started terrible and ended up making the playoffs?
I was 1-6, and then I won out.
You were 1-6, and then you won out. So there's still hope. There's hope for the both of them. It's a tough road to hoe, that's for sure.
Yeah. No, that's the thing, is you essentially have to win out and hope that, you know, like 4 other teams don't have, like, really good records.
Yeah.
Like, it's rough. It's rough stuff.
I want to count them out in theory team, like the Giants. It's got to be Travis. Because Travis, I mean, let's get to the waiver thing. Travis is down to $0. He just spent $7 on Jameis Winston. For what, I don't know.
I mean,
this is the guy that had 3 quarterbacks on his team at one time, and now he has Cam Newton and Jameis Winston.
That's the thing. Like, so I get the Jameis thing. He could be really good.
No, he couldn't.
He's got the weapons.
Jameis Winston sucks.
Unless
Free
you're
Ryan
assuming,
Fitzpatrick. Free Fitz.
I agree, but I have to say, unless you think that Jameis is going to be better than Cam for the rest of the year, that made no sense.
Why do you spend $70? He could have got him for free. Did anybody else try to pick up Jameis Winston?
I did not. I don't know if anyone else.
Nobody else tried to pick up Jameis Winston. He's the only guy.
Yeah. When you have no waiver budget left, you got to hang on to that $7 for just basic shit.
You just start throwing shit at the window, you know, for $1, $2, maybe. I mean, you're 5 weeks into the season and you got $7 left, and he blew it on Jameis Winston.
Yeah, I mean, Cam has already passed his bye week. Even through the bye week, Cam is still the 15th best quarterback in football. That's saying something. That means he had a whole week with no points compared to all the quarterbacks that had points, and he's still quarterback 15. Why do you need Jameis?
I don't know.
I don't get it.
It's fantastic.
Yes, it's something.
Oh. And if you'll notice,
you're gonna end up winning the championship, and then we're all going to be like, "Oh, look, that happened."
If you notice, all my bids for players were all $8 because I had a funny feeling Travis is just going to try to blow all $7. So I made sure I bid 8 on everyone.
That's fantastic.
But Zach made a plunge this week. He spent $13 on Niles Paul and $11 on Wendell Smallwood. Yeah,
speaking of wasted money, like, wow. I mean, I get that Corey Clement is on a snap count this week, but, I mean, Clement is the guy. And then, you know, Smallwood's going to get, 5, 6 totes a game, maybe? And then when Sproles is back, I don't even know if Smallwood takes the field. I mean, I get it. Los has some running back woes right now, but that was a lot to spend for Smallwood. He's not going to blow up, you know? And the Niles Paul thing, he's an average-ass quarterback. An average-ass tight end. I mean, yeah, I get it. Austin Severian-Jenkins left. He's out. But Niles Paul he's not a $13 tight end.
I don't think any tight end is worth $13 at this point, honestly.
I got Greg Olsen for $1. You know who dropped him?
Was it Zach?
Lowe.
Really? Oh.
Yeah.
But did he start out with Olsen? Did he draft Olsen?
Yeah, well, I don't know, but he texted me and he's like, "Man, I thought Olsen was going to be out longer, so I dropped him." And I was like, "Whatever works for me. I got him for $1."
I mean, I thought he was on IR. I thought Olsen was on IR, so.
No, he's playing this week. Oh. I'm not going to roll him out. I'm going to start Jordan Reed. They actually play each other.
Of course, you're playing Jordan Reed. I can't believe he stayed healthy for 6 weeks. We really need to have a Jordan Reed drop, by the way.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's something. I mean, we need to celebrate every week. Jordan Reed is still a professional football player.
Right.
That's wearing pads and everything. Really good stuff.
Of all the guys who were picked up this week, I think that Mike Davis, the Seattle running back, I think he's actually going to be worth something.
Can I make another side note real quick?
Sure.
$8 for Graham Gano.
Oh, I didn't even see that. It's
Yeah,
Jason. It's his first year.
I know. It's a kicker, man.
It is a kicker. They come.
I don't think.
Is it a bye week kicker though?
I mean, it's maybe Matt Prater. He switched out Matt Prater for Graham Gano for $8.
Well,
I mean, maybe thought Travis was after him.
I guess when you got money to blow, right?
I guess. Let me put it this
way. When
way.
everyone else has got $12 left and you got more, I mean, this is the Ed symptom. Week 13, someone tries to pick up a defense or kicker, and Ed spends $28 on one just because he's the only guy with $50 left.
I've gotten pretty much everybody I wanted, minus like D.D. Westbrook, and I have $93 yet in my fab budget. So, I mean, I'm happy. I can't wait till like the second half of the season here when really like solid starters start emerging. When, serious injuries happen and there's, like, relevant pickups to make, and I'm the only one left with money, this is going to be great.
Yeah, I mean, the year Kral won his championship, well, not this last one, but the one before, when Kral won his first championship, he literally read a, who was it? It was a Browns backup running back who got the job after Hillis got hurt, I think. I mean, this is years ago. And he rode him to the championship game because he picked him up with 4 weeks to go in the season, and he had 4 huge weeks.
Yeah, and that's what I'm holding out for, because I'm not going to be this overreaction guy that, overspends for a guy replacing somebody that's hurt. I mean, unless it's a really solid situation, there's probably a reason that he was the backup. Just putting that out there.
Right. And, I went against my normal grain. Normally, I don't go crazy spending money at the beginning of the season and try to wait like you did. But this year, I blew $50 in 3 weeks. And I'm thinking...
Yeah, but you had needs. You had needs that you had to fill, and you couldn't afford to not get the guys that were going to have value. You understood that. Yeah,
but I blew $50 in 3 weeks thinking I am playing from way behind the 8 ball here. And I think there's like 4 or 5 guys who have less money than me at this point, which just blows my mind.
Is going berserk.
I love it though. I really do. I love looking at waivers on Thursday morning and having just my mind blown every time.
It's really great, and that's the only disappointing part about some of these guys running out of money is I can't have that little treat at 10 a.m. every Thursday, like, wow, look at that.
$18.
Exactly. Some random third string, fourth string running back. It's like, dude, he's the fourth string running back. Even if he gets every carry in the game, he's probably getting 70 yards tops. Like, come on.
Hey, but speaking of running backs that are in a timeshare, and Lowe's, his team taking a shit last week, can I just say Mark Ingram's back, baby?
Holy cow. I mean, I would assume there's going to be some regression to like a little bit more average between Kamara and Ingram, but holy crap.
It was a blowout. They were really riding Ingram. They were just pounding the ball. So, that gave Ingram a little bit more run than Kamara. But I mean, get within the 5-yard line, just hammer the ball to Ingram, touchdown, baby. I mean, I love it.
Yeah. That's what they should have did with Aaron Jones in that Buffalo game. Just saying.
Aaron Jones.
I'm not going to let it go.
Hey, and McCarthy isn't either. He's determined to keep Jamal Williams out there. God damn, he's a good blocker.
I feel like he's doing it on purpose at this point, just to be like.
I don't know. You think he's trying to get fired?
There's no way he doesn't hear it. Like,
he hears it.
Every analyst is like, I can't believe he's doing this. And
Aaron Rodgers is calling him a dumbass. I mean, you can't see, not for real on TV, but just the looks that he's giving him is saying, hey, dumbass, play the fucking guy who can run the ball.
Exactly. And he won't break. It is the strangest thing. I thought he was better. I was way wrong.
McCarthy's trying to get fired. It's obvious. He's trying to get fired, right? The offense is stagnant. It's terrible. I don't know what's going on. Him and Rodgers are at odds.
Yeah, he could just be tired of the team. Maybe he just wants to get a cush offensive coordinator job somewhere and just, ride it out somewhere nice.
Man. Enough about the Packers. Let's do some matchups.
Let's.
Last week, you and me both were 1-4.
I told you not to pick me.
We picked everything the same, and you and I both picked our own games incorrectly.
Right. So,
it brings me to a total of 14-11, and you to a total of 15-10. We're hovering right around that, like a 66% winning percentage?
Yep.
Which is like a solid D, right? I mean, we're all right.
Yeah, I mean, anytime in fantasy football, now this is much different than like professional football teams. Like I could have told you the Eagles were probably going to beat the Giants today. In fantasy football, it's a little harder because there's just so many weird variables that happen when you're talking about starting the top 60 players or whatever it ends up being. I don't know. It's tough. I think we're doing pretty good. We're over 50%. That's fantastic.
That's right. If we were baseball players, we would be getting the Triple Crown. Can
I tell you something funny?
Sure.
Do you remember Odell Beckham's relationship with the field goal net last year?
I can't say I remember that one. I remember it being a thing, but I don't remember what it was about.
Well, tonight he's headbutting the air conditioning unit, yelling at it. He's got some strange anger problems.
He's a weird guy. I do believe last week he said that he was the best quarterback on the Giants. One pass, that's all it took. Now he thinks he's the best quarterback.
All right, back into the matchups.
All right.
Dancer.
We got Ryan versus Kral this week as our first matchup. What do you got?
I'm taking Kral, and here's why.
Because you hate Ryan. It's obvious. Well,
I mean, I don't hate him, but fuck that guy. No,
the best part is Ryan's never going to hear any of this. He doesn't have time to listen to this shit.
Person tells you that I was talking shit about you and you actually go and listen. I love you, buddy, but you frustrate me. My only 2 losses are both to him. I'm undefeated against the rest of the league.
Yeah. Going back to the standings, your whole division is 3-2, I believe.
Right.
Yep. You, Ryan, and Luke are 3-2.
Here's my thing. I mean, Kral can't lose every week, right?
Right.
I mean, Ryan still doesn't have Le'Veon Bell. He's got Watson starting against Buffalo. Could be good, could be bad. The only reason Ryan beat me last week is because Isaiah Crowell had an unfreaking believable game for Isaiah Crowell. Otherwise, I'd probably sneak a win on him.
That was a lot of yards.
Dude, it was stupid. I mean, I like Ryan's wideouts. I don't love his flex and tight end. I just think Carl could sneak out a win here. I like his matchups. Corey Clement already has 10.8 in his flex. Yes, that's pretty cool. So, yeah, give me Carl.
I got Ryan here, and the reason I picked Ryan is because, honestly, at this point, Carl's team's like a pit of despair. I mean, Cook and Fournette are never going to be healthy. McCoy's in a terrible spot. I mean, it's all the same stuff I've been saying every week. He's going to pick the wrong quarterback every week just because he's got 2 guys you can never trust. I'm just going Ryan because Ryan's got a horseshoe up his ass all the time, and, he shouldn't win, but he's going to.
That's true, but, I mean, if you really want to break it down, though, I mean, Landry against the Chargers could be, a shootout. Dalvin Cook could get a nice get-right game against Arizona. He doubled up by putting the Vikings D against Arizona. That could be huge. Gostkowski could kick a ton of field goals against Kansas City, because they could struggle to throw touchdowns. I mean, I just see a lot of stuff I like in the matchups. But,
Well, there you have it. We got Travis up next against me. The Adams Family versus Smith Schuster's Arcade. Travis is 2-3. I'm 3-2. What do you got here?
Well, I mean, you know what? I went against you last week, and I was wrong. But I'm taking you this week, and it's matchups, right? So I'm looking at Jameis Winston against Atlanta, which could be awesome. I imagine that's why he, rushed to pick him up, because the matchup says he should score points. Everything else looks rough, though. I mean, Zeke Elliott against Jacksonville, Emmanuel Sanders against the Rams.
Lindsey against the Rams, too.
Ebron against the Jets. That's not great. And then I look at your matchups, Cohen against Miami could get a lot of work. Hopkins against Buffalo could be a real nice, breakout game. Hill's going to definitely get some work done against New England.
I think Kansas City and New England is going to be a high-scoring game this week.
Right. You want just about any player involved in that game. Juju Smith-Schuster could see a lot of points, because I think Antonio Brown is going to get smothered in that game.
See, and I think they're just going to beat the shit out of each other in that game, and I think there's going to be a lot of running.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, just based off matchups alone, I like yours better. It could be a really close game. I struggled with this one probably the most, just picking who's going to win, just because I think it might be tight. But, yeah, I'll take you for the win.
Yeah, I think just the way Travis is dealing with his waiver money, his record might be okay. He might look like he has a good team right now. But all it takes is 1 or 2 injuries, a couple of bye weeks, and Travis is looking at like 2-6. I can see it already. Travis is done.
Right, which is what I alluded to last week. I said I'd picking him to win last week, which he didn't, and then it could just only get rougher moving forward as gets into, like you said, things like bye weeks and injury replacement and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how it goes. You've got Cam Newton. I already said how I feel about Cam. So see.
You do love you some Cam.
I do.
All right, we got Jason versus Ed. Marquise Lee MVP versus Dropping Browns. Ed's 5-0. Jason's 1-4. And does this look close to you?
No. And I'm going to say the same thing I said last week. Ed is good until proven bad. He's winning games. Connor is still the starter because Bell is still gone. Gurley's amazing. Kelsey's amazing. Evans is a fantastic slot receiver or flex receiver to have.
Mm-hmm.
And just the matchups are ideal. I mean, just scroll down, and I challenge all of you listening at home. Just scroll down Ed's matchups. They all just look perfect for his position players. So, could be a huge game for him. I think he could border on one of the highest scores he's had this year so far this week.
Yeah.
And Jason is Jason. So there you have it.
Yeah.
Hard hitting him.
Jason's got a $7 kicker, so it's definitely going to help his odds there.
I mean, Graham Gano could have 20 points, and I still don't think it's going to matter.
If Graham Gano, okay, over under, does Graham Gano score over or under the amount of dollars Jason spent on him?
I'll take the over against Washington because they're good in the red zone, and watch Jason will win by 3 points, and it'll be because Graham Gano hit just because I said something. But yeah, no, give me Ed.
All right, I'm taking Ed as well. All right, up next is your matchup. Robert's playing Andrew the Donkey Punctures versus Jordan Johnson. We got 2 3-2 teams here.
Did I ever explain the Jordan Johnson thing to everybody?
Yes. Well, the David Johnson, Jordan Howard thing, right?
Okay, yeah, somebody else
found a guy.
It's more than that. It's David Johnson, Jordan Reed, Jordan Howard, and Kerryon Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Carry on my wayward son.
You hit the drop, right?
Oh, of course I hit the drop. For those of you scoring at home, I have a soundboard now for the drops, but Robert can't hear when I run the drops. So, fuck.
It's a real guessing game here. Professional stuff.
Yeah, one of these days we'll figure it out.
Fair enough.
Yeah, in this game, I took you in a coin flip.
Wow.
In a coin
I would have
flip.
took Gobi. And for a couple of reasons.
Oh,
you
yeah?
got Brady at Kansas City in a shootout. You got Lynch going back to face Seattle.
Oh, see, I didn't think about that one. You're right. And Seattle's
And it's
defense
in
isn't that
Oakland.
good.
So he's going to be pumped. Seattle coming to Oakland. Lynch wants to just go berserk on them at home. It's going to be a nut house. Those two matchups alone just scare the shit out of me. Plus, he's got Brady stacked with Gronk against Kansas City.
Yeah, but
just,
Gronk sucks now.
Yeah, but he's still a healthy, big tight end down the field in that
Yes,
game.
4
So
receptions,
he's
40 yards a week. Way to go, Gronk.
Hey, look, all I'm saying is he's got nice-looking matchups minus the Antonio Brown thing that I mentioned previously. I don't feel great about this. I think I'm staring down another loss this week, but we'll see.
I flipped a coin. I'll be honest.
I mean,
You're probably right with the matchups because Rivers against Cleveland is not a good matchup for Rivers. Johnson versus Minnesota is not a good matchup for him.
Right.
We don't know what's going to happen with Aaron Jones.
I would feel better about my matchup if my flex was filled by Kerryon Johnson.
Carry on my wayward son.
But I put Aaron Jones in there. So, we'll see. Maybe this will be the game. Maybe this will be the one where Aaron Jones gets all them totes and goes crazy on Monday Night Football. Speaking of which, this Saturday is the Armed Forces flag football game.
Ooh.
So if you're watching that Monday Night Football Packer game, check it out at halftime. You might just see me playing flag football with a bunch of other weird military guys on the newly built practice field by the hotel.
Oh, yeah? What do your odds look like this year for your team?
So last year we finished right in the middle, 3rd out of 5 teams. This year we've actually
literally
practiced.
In the middle.
We did a little scouting. I'm going to be honest. Last year we literally threw our team together like the day before. We did a lot more work in developing a strategy here because the freaking Air Force team was ridiculous. They had an actual college quarterback on their team. It was silly.
Well, that's a good start.
Yeah, he torched us. But yeah, so we'll probably do better this year. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. Next matchup, Cooper Troopers versus second string. It's Steve versus Luke. Luke's 3-2. Steve is 2-3.
Yeah, I had trouble with this one. Honestly, it was just hard to pick. In the end, I went with Steve, and I don't feel good about it. But I don't know. I can't believe he puts Amari Cooper in his starting lineup over Quincy Enunwa. I know Enunwa had a bad game last week. I think he had a 0, actually. But, I mean, he's got Collins on the bench, James White on the bench, Quincy Enunwa on the bench, and he's starting Cooper and Carson. I don't get it. But I'm still picking him to win. So
yeah, and I think the opposite of you. I think the jig's finally up for Steve. He can't keep getting bullshit out of bullshit and winning games. I mean, he's 2-3, but
I mean, Melvin Gordon's great. Mixon's back. Allen Robinson looks pretty good.
His wide receivers are garbage.
Yeah,
Absolute garbage.
He's
got garbage wide receivers. He's got a couple of decent running backs. I offered him some trades. I offered him good wide receivers, and he's like, nah, I don't think any of your guys are better than Cooper or Robinson, which I laughed. I mean, I fell off my bed as I was reading the text laughing so hard because my wide receivers, I don't care what anyone says, my wide receivers, I have 5 wide receivers better than both those fuckers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you crazily started Calvin Ridley over Hill, which drove me insane.
It was like a 2-point difference. Who fucking cares?
I care. It was important. Anyways, I mean, Luke's got the better players. I mean, Mahomes,
Definitely.
Michelle, Beckham, Ertz.
Now that he's got 2 running backs that aren't on the same team, That helps.
Yeah, exactly. And the Jags D against Dallas would probably go crazy. I'm probably insane for taking Steve in this matchup, but I mean, for the sake of me not having any idea what to do, I just took Steve.
Yep, and I got Luke, so this one we disagree on. Last matchup, Zach versus Justin, Kamara Chameleon versus I didn't make the draft. Zach is 3-2, Justin is 2-3. Now Zach, after starting hot, he's lost 2 weeks in a row. And I dare tell you, Zach is gonna lose a third game in a row. Put it on the board.
Ooh.
Justin's winning this one.
I actually agree. I also took Justin, and I mean, obviously, it has a lot to do with the fact that he doesn't have Kamara or Breeze because they're on bye.
Yeah, that hurts. But here's the reason why he's losing. He's starting Trubisky.
Well, you know that's a spite play because we talked so much shit last week.
Right, and he's going to lose because he's starting Trubisky. He's going to have a terrible game. I don't even care. Miami's got a decent defense, I think.
I mean, he's starting the Dolphins' defense as well.
I did not notice that.
We talked about this.
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah. And he's got the old Chicago Bear Robbie Gould starting at kicker too.
Yeah, I mean,
and the old Chicago Bear Alshon Jeffrey. This is a Chicago Bear lineup.
Yes, he's having himself a good old Bear fest here. I mean, additionally, he has 3 Eagles players on his roster. Kamara is definitely coming back to earth with the return of Ingram, and honestly, Breeze might come back to earth a little bit too. You know,
yeah.
You saw it last year. Breeze was comfortably giving the ball to the running backs and letting them do their job. He was getting wins regardless.
Mm-hmm.
He already set the passing record. I don't think he's in a big hurry to just force the issue. I mean, and Los's starting running backs are T.J. Yeldon and Adrian Peterson. Newsflash, T.J. Yeldon is eventually not going to be a starter. Adrian Peterson is hurt. And
no, T.J. Yeldon probably is going to be a starter every other week this season because Fournette's going to play a game and then miss a game.
Sure, but I mean, that's still, you know, it is what it is only for so long. He's got Lamar Miller on the bench and Devontae Freeman when he feels like being healthy. It's just what I thought was a really deep, unstoppable lineup suddenly looks a lot more mortal. So I think Justin's going to take this one,
I mean,
especially
that's what injuries
now.
Can do.
Saquon Barkley with 122 and a touchdown at the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, Alshon Jeffrey's doing his part, though, too. So it's not like they're that far apart.
That's true.
So I picked Justin. You picked Justin as well.
Correct.
And that's it for our Pigskin Pick'em this week. All right. So let's finish her off here. Family circle time.
Do you have a drop for this?
No, but I should. I'll think about that one too.
Can it be like the Brady Bunch song or like the Partridge Family song or something really like super dumb that was all those cool like family shows back. It could even be like a Full House drop. That'd be neat.
Ooh, Full House. That would be a good one.
Everywhere you look.
Yeah, that's a good one. You almost need to listen to that one for a while, though. That's not like a 5-second drop.
Yeah, because that song will just get stuck in your head.
It just keeps going. You can't stop it, you know?
That's actually how they got people to watch the show. They're like, we'll just have such a catchy song.
You just start singing along, and before you know it, they're driving in a convertible over the Golden Gate Bridge, and you're like, oh, I just listened to the whole thing.
They're on that hill with the picnic. It's amazing. And they lived. What's funny is they lived in San Francisco, and not one member of the family was gay.
Not well that we know of.
Yeah, I mean, they just weren't willing to touch that issue in the 90s.
Touch the issue, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I like to call it the issue sometimes.
Ooh. Well, all right. So, I have something to tell you. It's something that's been eating at me for a while now.
Whoa.
It's something that is true, and it's something that needs to be stopped. Let me tell you this. Our children, everyone's children, our children are murderers, and someone needs to stop them.
Do explain.
Last week, with all this rain that we've been having, opened up the garage door, and of course, there's a night crawler, trying to find its way across the driveway. And Vince grabs this giant worm, and he goes, "Oh, look at this! I got a worm!" And he's playing with it and taking it here, taking it there, wherever. Well, he takes it in the backyard, puts it on the table in the middle of the deck, and a day later, I find this worm just shriveled up on the table, like, he just left me for dead. and it made me start thinking, this spring, Vince caught a caterpillar, put it in his little bug catcher thing.
Sure.
Forgot about it. 3 days later, he goes, "Kyle, why is my caterpillar not moving?" I said, "Well, Vince, because you killed him."
Dude, that's not even that bad. My kids chase bugs down and stomp them.
Oh no, I haven't even gotten there yet.
At least
Vince
just killing them.
Vince hates flies with a vengeance. If we're in the car and I accidentally leave a fly in the car, Vince would be like, "Oh, Kyle, you left a fly in the car. Get it out. Get it out. Kill it." He regularly tries to kill spiders. He picks up grasshoppers, puts them in between his fingers, walks up to me and goes, "Hey, Kyle, look, a grasshopper," and squishes them. I mean, he's killing insects left and right. He's a murderer. I don't know what else I can say. He's a murderer, and I think all of our children do this. We're raising murderers.
I actually agree, and mine's a little more deep-seated and creepy. Did you listen to the Jonestown podcast on the last podcast on the left?
The four-parter or the yeah, pretty crazy, isn't it?
So they're basically describing Rob when they talk about Jim Jones's childhood, and I was like, "Wow,
what?
Do I have the next future cult leader in my family right now?"
Really?
But yeah, I mean, it's just when they were talking about what he was like as a kid, it was literally word for word about Rob, and I was like, "Holy shit, Rob is Jim Jones." I'm gonna buy him a sweet pair of sunglasses and just fast forward. Why not?
That's right. He better have some aviators. Aviators and start taking drugs.
Yeah, he definitely needs some amphetamines to get this thing pushed forward. Forget his ADD medication. Let's just ramp this thing up.
Our children are murderers. I'm telling you, we're raising a society of murderers. No wonder there's Jeffrey Dahmers out there, because he was allowed to kill animals as a child.
Yeah, exactly. That's I mean, what do you do though? I mean, we've all done it a little bit as kids. I mean, some get a little more carried away with it than others, but I don't know.
Yeah, and then you can be Stephen Avery killing a cat. This is your promo for Making Murderer Part 2 coming out next week.
He is innocent. That's great. They're doing a Part 2. I want the last podcast on the left to get a hold of this. What are they waiting for?
I think it was they talked about it at one time, and it was so talked about, and it was such a. I don't know if they'll do it.
Maybe they'll let it simmer for a little bit.
I listened to the Generation Y as another true crime podcast where it's not funny; it's just more facts.
Sure.
And they got in pretty deep into the Avery thing, and kind of doing all the rebuttal stuff to what the documentary left out.
Sure.
And there's actually a lot more evidence that points to him and Dassey being implicated. But I
Right.
still think that the way it was described isn't right. The way it was described in the trial isn't the way it actually happened. And there were other people on that property that I am sure know what happened or how it happened, or maybe witnessed something happening that we're just
Yeah,
never going to
that's the
find
thing,
out.
right? Like, he might have done it, but there was so much fraudulent activity as far as who was there, where they were supposed to be, who had jurisdiction, who was specifically not supposed to be there.
No, I'm not even talking about the police. I'm talking about family members and people that were on that property the night that crime was committed.
Right. I'm saying
You can't tell me there's two houses within less than a football field away from where this all happened, and all of the family members were at this bonfire in which a corpse was being burned, and none of them had anything to do with it or knew about it, what had just happened, or had witnessed anyone cleaning anything. They got rid of the car. They hid the car. Nobody else was involved in anything.
Yeah, you'd think there'd be a lot more like things going on at the residence where maybe they would have skipped family bonfire night and they had it be a little more personal.
Right. Everyone was there, according to the report. There's more involved in it, and
I still think the crazy ex-boyfriend did it.
No, he did not.
I'm not going to let it go, man. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah, I think you're wrong about that.
You weren't there, man.
Well, no, neither were you.
You don't know that.
The only person we know for sure that was there was Teresa Hallbach.
Jesus. Yes, she was definitely there.
Just stating facts.
Fair enough.
All right.
Are we doing that?
What do you got for your family circle?
Mine's kind of boring. I don't know. So I took the boys to Boy Scout camp this weekend.
Wonderful.
Right? And
kids are still doing that Boy Scout thing, huh? That was something I was never interested in. I did it for a while, and I was like, "This is stupid. I'm out."
They do a camp thing twice a year. The summer one is a little more like active, and then the fall one is more of a like, let's get out in the woods and get our hands dirty and stuff like that.
All right.
Given the weather, a bunch of families backed out, and it was just, me and the boys, another dad and his son, and then the pack leader and his son. So it was a pretty small group. So it was Rob, Ryan, and two other boys. I
do love how you named your kids after Rob Ryan, the defensive coordinator with the crazy hair.
Yeah, right? I mean, give him some love. He had hair like Joby.
No. His hair was way crazier.
It is prime.
He was literally the
camera doesn't do it justice.
Yeah, he was the black sheep of that family.
Anyways, yeah. So I mean, we drove all the way to Wapaka, right? We went to this state park and we walked the trails and did all the stuff that you do in Scouts, observed things and learned how to cook meals using fire and tinfoil and crap like that.
Mm-hmm.
My boys still, they have this like social disconnect. I don't know if it's something that I gave them or what.
It's your
probably
fault.
is. But they're not great at like understanding when people want to be left alone or like realizing a situation where they should just like walk away. Yeah. They do this thing where they push an issue till they understand what the hell's going on, and it's just really weird. So by the end of Saturday, Rob and Ryan were clearly like separate from the other two boys, and they were just like playing separately, and you couldn't really get them to do anything together. It made it kind of weird. But all I'm going to say is the dad of one of the other kids was a total douche canoe. And I couldn't stand 1 second of being around the guy that I had to hang around with all weekend while our kids fought with each other. I hated every second of the trip. I probably won't do it again unless I'm sure there's more families there. Yeah, go Boy Scouts.
What was so annoying about the guy?
He's one of those, like, so his job, he's like a political / like market analyst guy
wonderful.
or something, like real
Suit and
douchey
tie
stuff.
guy,
He does it at like UW Oshkosh and for some business also.
Oh, just like
And,
that loser Chris Groves, right?
Hey, you leave him out of this. He's a loser.
Well, you were just talking about all his losers from UW Oshkosh.
No, he's this guy specifically is just a loser. But
gotcha.
well, actually, he would tell you how big of a winner he is.
I'm sure he would.
Wherein lies the problem? The look at me type of people that I cannot stand to be around drive me insane. When you're sitting around the fire and you need to talk louder and over the top of people to make sure that everyone knows that everything you've ever done has always been better in every situation than anything you've ever done, it's just mind-boggling how you can say something as simple as like, hey, I just cooked a hot dog with a stick over the fire, and he'll go on this tangent about how he made brats over the fire using better sticks, or, just like,
Sure.
it's the constant one-upsmanship that I am too lazy to participate in, where you're just like, by the time he's done talking about all of his cool ventures, you just want to be like, motherfucker, I've killed a man. Get away from me.
Oh.
Like I'm not afraid to do it right now. Like I just get so angry at people like that I just want them to go away. But you're stuck in this little fucking campsite because your kids are there and you can't get away from them.
And that's what they call PTSD.
Yeah, well, it's a side effect. But yeah, that's my family circle, my tight apparently family circle.
Fantastic.
Now I'm all riled up again. I need more whiskey.
Well, you go fill that drink because I think it's about that time to finish her up for this week. That's another edition of the Gentleman Fantasy Podcast for you folks. Signing off, I am Kyle. That is Robert. You guys have a wonderful week.
Go Crow.